So ever since April 14th of 2025, we all witnessed exactly what happened with Blue Origin's spaceflight, bringing up those like Katy Perry, Gayle King, Jeff Bezos' fiance going up there as well. And we already know that the backlash, once they landed, was pretty much inevitable after what we all witnessed when they were in that pod above Earth for a short while, roughly 10.5 to 11 minutes long. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. So everything there is to do with Katy Perry right now, we know that she has been on the damage control train. She has been firing back at the critics. We know that her team also is firing back at the critics. And even the many brands out there associated with everything out there, whether it's food, whether it's different products, are beginning to even mock Katy Perry, one of which was Wendy's. We all saw what happened there on X/Twitter, where they wrote a little thing into their overall, box there on X that said, "Can we send her back?" Right? As if she should actually go back up to space and stay there. That little mocking moment really seemed to have set off Katy Perry and her entire team, because now they're going on a tirade against not just the critics, but also the entirety of the general public that are even questioning Blue Origin right now. So what's interesting about this further is that, yes, we know that Jeff Bezos is very much on defense mode. Everything related to the whole space flight for Blue Origin and how it's backfiring completely, not just in social media, but also in mainstream media. I mean, this is everywhere, and it doesn't seem to be getting any better or showing any kind of a resolution in sight. But what's interesting here has a lot more to do with Katy Perry's behavior, not just toward the critics, but also toward Wendy's and other brands that mocked her in the process. Now, with the Katy Perry backlash only getting worse, especially after Wendy's mocked her on social media days ago, already Perry and her team are beginning to fire back, like I said before, the general public, in a desperate move, especially toward Wendy's and other brands that have mocked her on social media. Now, Perry delivered the following. As a woman, it can be very cruel. It can be a very cruel world for all of us. This age of social media truly has no boundaries anymore, because they live in an age of hiding behind screens instead of facing those that they are criticizing. When you have widely known brands, especially ones that are known for their food, across the entire nation mocking the first all-female group that went into space, and especially me, it just shows us how broken our society is right now. I demand an apology for all of that. I think that we all should. We all deserve an apology because we are women, and women should never be treated that way based on doing a courageous act and a brave act to risk our lives going into space. Because with these shuttles, you never truly know what's going to happen. You just don't. I think the core problem out there here, and why there are so many there celebrating a widely known brand mocking someone like me who decided to take part in this flight, is that they are just picking their personal battles with women. And it's a shame. It's a damn shame that this is what it has come to in 2025. As if we didn't have enough problems already. We now have to deal with this. I think everyone needs to apologize, including Wendy's, to all the brave women, including myself, who took on this very complex training that truly prepared us to expect the worst, but to hope for the best. Going up there, and I can only hope that my own peers, my own friends and family can someday get the chance to do the same as I did. We made history. We belong in the history books. It took us decades to finally send an all-female group into space, and look at what we are getting on social media. I think this is the epitome of society collapsing, and there needs to be a turnaround, and there needs to be one fast. Everyone should apologize on their part for saying some of the most childish things out there, not just about Jeff Bezos, the shuttle, but also how those like me, Gayle, and the other fine women on board risk their lives to go through all of this. Our status should hold no argument with our action to find our way up there. It should have nothing to do with any of that. Nothing here was staged or fabricated, and shame on those who believe in that. I truly am disappointed in Wendy's for acting that way, that they did, but I'm really not all that surprised with this new age of social media that has gone too far. We went up into space, we made history, and sadly the only historic thing about coming down is the realization that people really have zero manners anymore. Wendy should seriously be ashamed of themselves, along with the other brands doing the same. To have critics go that far is beyond daunting to me as someone in the music industry, especially with, of course, everything that's going on right now, with everything toward all of us. Now guys, let me just stop here before I move on about all of this. Now, What's interesting about this yet again is that we know that Katy Perry is continuing to double down on the damage control train. We know that she's calling out Wendy's here. She's also calling out those that are questioning Blue Origin's spaceflight. Look, I don't think it was necessarily faked at all. Do I think it was staged to a degree when it came to the aesthetics and the overall way it was actually filmed? Yes, I do believe in that part, but I don't believe that this was all done in a studio or anything like that. It definitely did go up. We know that people actually saw this in person from a distance. They actually saw the rocket going up. So there's that. But when you look at everything in isolation here, the way that they set this thing up was very fake and phony in nature, is what I'm trying to put out there. The fact that you have someone like Katy Perry and the rest of them getting all made up in these, tight space suits and looking into the camera, taking selfies basically instead of looking out the window, all these different things were very just odd and strange to me, and it just goes to show you how celebrities truly don't belong in space, or at least celebrities like those such as Katy Perry, Gayle King, and Jeff Bezos' fiance. All of those types of women, right, when they go up into space, the only thing that they care about is the attention of doing that act instead of the act in and of itself, right? So that's the one thing about all of that. There's many other arguments out there, but I would love to hear what everyone else has to say about Blue Origin spaceflight. Did you think it was faked truly? Do you really believe it never left the ground, or do you actually believe it left the ground? I want to see the ratio here of how many are actually believing one thing or the other. I'm on one end where I do believe it went up there, obviously, because people, like I said before, saw this from the distance, saw it going up there, but there's no doubt about it that the way it was shot, very fake and phony, very much like a Meghan Markle type of personality when you have Katy Perry going in there, just doing this for attention. It's so obvious, it's so in your face, especially like I said before, when she's taking a selfie basically in the camera and doing all those things with the daisy. But that's just a small number of things. There's a lot more things to criticize there. But again, we can see that Katy Perry is getting very bent out of shape over Wendy's. She really is. Even her team called out Wendy's. They're demanding an apology. They're demanding them to reverse action and, essentially kind of just remove that overall post on X. Look, this is typical Wendy's. They roast people, they mock people all the time. This is nothing new. It's just that nobody expected them to do it against Katy Perry, and honestly, I didn't see that one coming at all, and I'm sure Katy Perry didn't see that one coming, because she sounds very surprised. Her entire team sounds very shocked based on what they've been saying the past, 12, 13 hours. Interestingly enough, though, we know that Katy Perry is trying to really actually latch onto the limelight even more surrounding Blue Origin spaceflight. We'll talk more about that in the coming hours, because you're going to be quite interested to see exactly what she's about to do next. Again, we know that Katy Perry is trying to stay relevant. She is trying to stay in the spotlight. I think that at the end of the day, that's what this is all about. If they really wanted to do something special, like I said days ago, they could have actually given a handout to regular American citizens that could not afford to go up into space and actually represented those American citizens. That would have been amazing. To have those like Katy Perry, Gayle King, Jeff Bezos' fiance, maybe giving a couple American citizens a handout to say, hey, you know what, here's the funds, go up into space, come down and tell us your experience. That would have been historic. Even if they did an all-female group that way, I think it would have been done better. But overall, I would like to hear what you all have to say about this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.